Let him have it!
Focus! Star Wars The Old Republic is home to in-game raids known as operations. These consist of 8 and 16-man groups tackling deadly bosses. A couple years back, I dedicated time to seeing if it would be possible to solo one of these encounters. I spent countless hours testing different bosses and character builds, eventually soloing the operation boss known as the Eyeless. Now, why does this matter? Well, at the start of January 2024, I caught wind of people talking about a new tier of SWTOR gear, rating 344, introduced in patch 7.4. I hadn't been playing the game for almost a year, but hearing about this powerful gear that made fights quicker got me thinking. It was time to do the impossible. I was going to solo as many raid bosses as I could, or die trying. Okay, it wasn't that dramatic, but you'll soon see why this challenge genuinely took years off my life. This video is divided into 5 sections: the groundwork, the impossible bosses, the can't do this forever bosses, the I hate Enrage timers bosses, and the soloed. The groundwork describes the exact abilities and general strategies I use throughout every boss encounter attempt. If you want to understand the absolute big brain planning to make this whole thing work, I'd recommend watching this section before anything else. The impossible bosses range from getting annihilated instantly to the absolute torture I endured to reach bosses that dish out crazy damage. It's funny to watch, but horrible to experience. The can't do this forever bosses are hell, and I wish they weren't. These bosses I could fight for a little, but it would fall apart shortly as the fight progressed beyond a phase or two. The I hate Enrage timers bosses show why taking too long to kill a boss can ruin any sense of progress in an encounter instantly. And also why you can't just run 6 healers and 2 tanks and complete every encounter in the game. The soloed are the crispy, fully completed solo raid bosses. Rageful gameplay and pure happiness included. Every boss section is a test to see how far I can push the game, even with bosses I certainly knew wouldn't be possible. This wasn't just trying to find a single boss I could cheese or a couple of fight attempts and quitting. It was spending hundreds of hours torturing myself for your entertainment. Now let's begin. The groundwork. So the first thing I immediately asked myself when booting up the game is, how the fuck am I gonna do this? Well, I started gearing up my tune with the best items. Turns out you now have to get a PhD in SWTOR to learn how to even begin gearing.
Why are there so many currencies?
So, after watching a few guides, I learned I had to run the Flashpoint Dungeon Hammer Station like 50 times in a row for currency, run multiple story mode operations back to back to upgrade set bonus gear, and then run 2 Master Mode raid bosses that give me gear pieces to quickly upgrade to the legendary 344 gear rating. I would rotate across multiple tunes because you can only do each Master Mode boss once a week per tune. So SWTOR had essentially become a full-time job. I don't recommend anyone try to do this all in 2 weeks. I also had to drain my supply of credits I've saved up from years of playing to buy legendary augments to add to every gear piece to make me slightly more powerful. I repeated this gearing process for hours on end, multiple times a day, 7 days a week. I was making OSRS grinding look like child's play. I was a machine, not touching grass or eating ass. After all the work was done, my character was rated 343 in overall stats, missing a 344 piece for my offhand generator. Implants in this current patch only reached 340, so that's what they were set to. These are my final stats with no bonuses for those interested. I will note in most boss attempts, I have slightly less 344 gear pieces, so in these cases, any gear piece that wasn't 344 was rated 340. I was actually soloing raid bosses between gearing. So, I was decked out in some of the best gear the game had to offer, but that still didn't prepare me for battle. The next phase was, what set bonuses, utilities, and abilities would make this possible? I'll break this down as simply as I can. I play the advanced class Commando. He has strong damage abilities, defensives, and can heal no matter if spec for damage or healing. The spec I play is Gunnery, with the healing spec, Combat Medic, being something I switch to for certain boss fights. My 2 set bonuses are attached to my implants. One makes it so a primary damage ability generates 3 charges of supercharged stacks. This is basically a buff that once stacked to 10 and drained, increases my armor penetration to enemies, or if I'm a healer, makes me heal gooderer and spam one of my abilities without a cooldown. The second bonus is the bread and butter of my tune. When I kill someone once every 8 seconds, I get a brief 75% movement speed boost and 20% of my maximum health back instantly. When I soloed the eyeless operation boss, the gear I used had this exact set bonus. I just can't thank the devs enough for leaving this bonus in. I mean, I don't know what I would do without it. Been through so much together. These are the 2 set bonuses I would use without compromise. Also, my tactical for DPS is something that burns the enemy when I use abilities related to the gunnery spec, and my healing one makes a healing ability stronger and generates supercharged stacks. Now, utilities. Besides a few special circumstances I'll mention at specific boss fights, I picked what I thought was best for damage with any level that involved defensives or increasing my survivability. Jesus. With any level that involved defensives or increasing my chance for survival, then becoming the default. These are the utilities I chose for my Gunnery Commando DPS spec, and these are the utilities I chose for my healing spec. A couple of highlights are picking up a defensive / raid threat drop ability, an effect to absorb damage, making my adrenaline rush ability more powerful and heal for more, a reflect bubble to heal myself and hurt the boss, and trauma stabilizers that make my reactive shield heal once the duration ends. Don't worry, this will make sense shortly. Abilities, aka the most important part of soloing raid bosses. With the utilities I showed you, plus from reaching max level, I have 4 powerful defensive abilities. These are Diversion, Reactive Shield, Adrenaline Rush, and Echoing Deterrence. Diversion is a utility option I picked up earlier, and it's meant to be used to drop threat in raids. Basically, if you DPS the big glowy boss really hard, and he suddenly decides you're tanking the raid from now on, use this ability to reduce your threat so he turns to slapping the tank around. However, those cheeky devs put some extra buffs that make this a powerful defensive. Upon using Diversion, your melee and ranged defense chance increases by 35% for 6 seconds. For 6 whole seconds, you have a 40% chance to dodge entire melee and ranged attacks. Not only that, you get 2 charges of something called Decoy. Each charge absorbs an incoming force or tech attack. So if you're getting attacked with an ability that the game deems a force or tech attack, you negate the damage entirely. Did I also mention this only has a cooldown of 45 seconds? If you want to solo stuff, take this ability. It's god tier. Next, we have Reactive Shield. Now on the surface, this ability seems simple. Increases damage reduction by 25% for 12 seconds. But the utilities we grabbed called Reflexive Shield and Trauma Stabilizers make it, in my opinion, one of the best defensives in the game. The utility Reflexive Shield makes it so whenever you take damage, the cooldown of Reactive Shield is reduced by 3 seconds. You see that 2-minute cooldown? Get it out of here! We're taking damage non-stop, so the cooldown is very fast. I'm too lazy to calculate how fast the timer is now. But not only that, you have a 20% chance to generate an extra shield that absorbs damage that lasts up to 6 seconds. The next utility is Trauma Stabilizers. During the duration of Reactive Shield, I generate Trauma Stabilizers when I take direct damage from an enemy. Each stabilizer can heal me for 4% of my health. These stabilizers can stack up to 10 times, and once the shield duration ends, I'm healed instantly. This means I can theoretically recover 40% of my health instantly. Reactive Shield is transformed from a basic defensive to one with a much shorter cooldown, a new way for me to absorb damage, and an instant heal device. Honestly, don't know what I would do without this defensive. Please don't nerf Broadsword. We now move on to Adrenaline Rush. Pop this bad boy, gives you a fired up buff for 60 seconds. If you ever get to 35% health, it triggers Adrenaline Rush. You get rapidly healed for 10 seconds up to 35% health, but will never exceed it. You keep taking damage, Adrenaline Rush keeps your health up. It's pretty straightforward. The utility we grabbed, Adrenal Surge, greatly buffs Adrenaline Rush. Now it pops at 60% of your maximum health, lasts 2 seconds longer, and will heal twice as much when restoring health. The only big con of this defensive is the cooldown is 3 minutes. Not ideal. Finally, the last defensive is Echoing Deterrence. This is a utility option I picked up, and it reflects incoming direct single target damage for 6 seconds. 50% of the damage gets sent back to the attacker, and the player gets healed for 5% of their health each time an attack is absorbed. It has a 2-minute cooldown. It's a great defensive to keep you in the fight longer while also giving some health back. And a quick honorable mention, although it's not really defensive, is Propulsion Round. Rather than picking up Echoing Deterrence, you can grab Propulsion Round, which grants 2 stacks of an ability to launch yourself backwards 20 meters. I use it at some points in this video, and in special cases, it can be more powerful than having a Reflect. Now, the general order of using these defensive abilities is Diversion whenever it's off cooldown and I want a little damage break, to Reactive Shield so I can tank damage for a little and get health back, to Adrenaline Rush, only activated when I'm on the absolute verge of death, and then Echoing Deterrence once the rush ends. If Diversion is ever up, I'll pop it between defensives or during a Reactive Shield. The goal is to repeat the defensives in this order as best as I can. Since Adrenaline Rush takes 3 minutes to go off cooldown, I have to skip it after my first run through for the time being, and mainly flip-flop between Reactive Shield and Diversion until Echoing Deterrence is back up. Then of course using Adrenaline Rush after. There are 2 more abilities, if you want to call them that I use on occasion. Those are my Power Adrenal and Tank Adrenal. They're both on the same timer and have a 3-minute cooldown. The Power Adrenal makes it so I have increased power for damage, but I heal way worse. The Tank Adrenal lets me absorb a bunch of damage with no repercussions. I mainly use the Tank Adrenal as a sort of extra defensive, usually at the very beginning of a fight and whenever it's off cooldown. Besides my defensives, I'm playing the Gunnery DPS spec as briefly mentioned earlier. It's a really simple rotation. You spam Grav Round and then there's some other buttons you occasionally press. My spec underperforms a bit damage-wise compared to other classes, but it's been my main forever and I'm not changing now. Oh, and healing spec, I'm just mashing my keyboards and it just seems to kind of work. And also, kind of important note here, raid bosses have something called an Enrage timer. I mentioned it a few times later, but I realized as I'm nearly done editing the video that it's never explained in the Groundwork section. So here we go. If you take way too long to kill a boss, they get a buff that greatly increases their damage and is meant to wipe a raid. I hit this point on many bosses, and I even have a video section named after it. Spoiler alert, death is typically inevitable. So Enrage timers, bad. So to quickly summarize, I have OP gear, tons of defensives at my disposal, a simple DPS rotation mainly involved around one ability, raid bosses do huge damage if they're alive for too long, and yeah, that's pretty much it. The finale of this Groundwork section is some miscellaneous bits you all might find amusing. So, returning to the game, I forgot that there are guild perks that a guild master can activate to buff your characters for a short period. It turns out, there's a passive guild set bonus that increases my critical chance by 5% in everything besides master mode raids and PvP, and also a perk that increases my primary stat, mastery, by 6 to 8% while in raids that are not master mode. In about half of my solo attempts, these weren't active. And truth be told, I wasn't about to harass my guild master to reactivate this stuff for the challenge when I needed it. And in all honesty, the stat boosts weren't the deciding factor in me completing a boss or not. It was a skill issue. But it certainly made things easier. So if you want to solo things, I'd highly recommend building or joining a guild with these perks. And here's a funny problem I ran into after starting this challenge. How on earth was I gonna get like 30 boss lockouts at random points of raids? Well, I joined Pugs formed in the chat and left right as I got to the boss I wanted to, making up some BS excuse, securing a checkpoint to the boss I want to attempt for about a day. I'll admit, this was a dick move on my part, and it started to catch up to me fast, when people would recognize I left past raids in the chat. Also, getting ignored by the whole server for constantly leaving raids means this challenge will be impossible, as I would have a very difficult time grouping up with anyone in this game ever again. So, I came up with a solution. I gave one of my alts, Snoopy Slinger, the combat style of Commando so they could become a carbon copy of my main. Whenever I got to the boss I needed the lockout for, I would immediately leave the instance, open my legacy storage and place my gear into it, tell the raid leader I was swapping tunes without even giving them a chance to ask why I was doing this, log into the other tune, get invited back to the group, grab my gear from legacy storage, and then return to the instance quickly. I could complete all of this in about 2 minutes, securing boss lockouts and not screwing over 7 other people. Some would question why I would do this, because I'll be honest, I would do this in every single raid I pugged. And I would group with the same people now and again. But this ensured no legacy ignores and the lockouts to bosses I wanted to test all to myself. So yeah, that's the entire setup. Now it's finally time to solo some bosses.
Our gatekeeper will eat well today.
Coming into this challenge, I knew my first stop had to be Nephra. This boss had a pretty big exploit back in the day, and I honestly don't know all the lore surrounding it, but what I do know is if you only have one person standing in front of the boss in a normal raid, or you go in solo, she does an insane amount of damage on each hit. The trash mobs leading up to the boss aren't too bad, but they love to knock you around, and if you're like me and don't do the smart thing of hugging the wall, it can lead to some rage-filled moments. In the sense, just being... The moths have combined! One giant moth. Oh, fuck no! That's the one thing you gotta be really aware of. Uh-oh. No! No, 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 no! Stop! You troll. Stop. Don't knock me off. Don't knock me off. Don't, no, no! Get another quick heal in there. Ow. Oh, fuck. No, 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 no! Why? But after getting through the mobs, we could finally proceed to Nephra. Well, I already know how this is likely gonna go, unfortunately.
She will collect her toll in blood.
I'm ready for the pain train. So that's the circle of death I have. I have reflex for a little, and now the pain starts. Any second now. Any second now. Oh, there we go. There it is. Oh, yep. We are surviving this, guys.
How many will you sacrifice?
Now, you might have noticed, though, is if I'm a bit far away, it might work. So we're going to go propulsion round now. The boss isn't attacking me immediately, as long as I keep some distance. I think I'm kind of screwed regardless, because the boss is still catching up to me, even if I am running away. It appears even if you run around the pillar, you still take damage. So, yeah, I mean, Nephra doesn't care about LOS. Oh no, my fate is sealed. My fate is sealed. Top 5 moments before disaster.
All no fear.
This was going bad. So I decided to switch to a utility to make my speed boost ability last longer, and switch my main damage tactical to a new tactical that grants a speed boost when I use my ability, Concussion Charge. Maybe I could now stay away from Nephra long enough and slowly wither her HP for an hour.
How many will you sacrifice?
Yeah, that didn't happen. Next boss.
Just don't try patting that sucker.
Little old Sparky is a very straightforward boss in normal raid scenarios. He jumps on the tank, maybe jumps on you, you kill the small dog ads that pop out so they don't overwhelm you. It's a good time. However, the same can't be said if you try to take on the Junkyard Alpha alone. Entering the raid, there are no trash mobs leading to the boss, making him quick to access, but initiating the fight alone presents a few issues. Firstly, Sparky calls for smaller dogs to come out to support throughout the entire fight. But each time they scratch you, you gain debuff stacks that increase damage taken by 2%. Focusing the dogs down won't help much, as they spawn quickly enough that the debuff will only get larger and hurt more as the fight continues. Secondly, Sparky and his pack aren't as friendly as Nephra, and will pounce on your ass at a moment's notice. You aren't running away from them to heal back up. Finally, Sparky's final burn phase spawns in dogs more rapidly than before, so even if you somehow manage to get to the end point of the fight, you're getting mauled to death regardless. Also, I found through testing, if you jump before Sparky's throw ability ends at the right angle... I got a funny idea. Oh! Surely there's an invisible wall here, right? No shot! You can get out of the arena and explore a bit. Alright, well now we gotta try to do the funny. The boss obviously resets if you try to fight him outside the arena, but it's a neat little bug. Jump over here, Sparky. No! Anyway, let's try to go up this way. Bro jumps so far to get to. Oh man, that's awesome. Next boss.
The sacrifice is complete.
He's probably one of my favorite starter bosses in a raid. Tithe is a machine god living on Iocath. He screams non-stop about rage and is angry all the time, but that's what makes him so memorable.
Rage, I am a god.
And then he's all like, show me your rage! Leading up to the fight, there are multiple trash mobs that incorporate healers, enemies that yoink you back to the kill zone, and lots of fire. I wish we could just blow up that little backpack behind him. Oh, look like that one scene in Batman v Superman. Blow up the whole room. Killing the healer droids can be a tough challenge in itself, since you need to interrupt their healing ability and quickly burst them down. Otherwise, they'll eventually use their healing ability again and get back to full health and make you hate your life. Oh my god, I fucked this up so bad. It can be easy to die here if you're not careful. Luckily, the drops from killing the trash mobs are pretty decent, so you won't go broke reaching Tithe. It's a little secret between you and me, guys. Yeah, you can get some decent combinations from just killing the trash mobs here. And also, like, gear to deconstruct. Warzone, tokens, conquest tokens. Oh, thanks. He was worth, premium duranium. Also, might I just say that the IOCAF music they use in this raid is so good. There's this one song that plays at the final trash mob before the boss that's so hyped and really sets the mood for what you're getting yourself into. Stay one mob at a time. Alright, preservation droid dead. I mean, the music kind of fits here because, I mean, we are just one person doing this. Oh, let's get, where is he? This coward droid. Okay. I just got locked in. I'm gonna have to stun preservation droid again. The burns are starting to hurt a bit. I'm not dying yet. 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 Thank God for the reflex bubble. All right, and get rid of that. You're dead. And there we go. We don't even have to worry now. We just have Mr. Backpack Fire Guy and preservation droid. Let's wrap this up. And burst. Done. I swear that song makes you play better. Once I was done killing the trash mobs, it was time to face Tithe. The primary mechanic of Tithe is he builds rage stacks when adds that spawn around the arena are killed. Killing an ad yourself generates 1 rage stack, while having him kill an ad generates 2 rage stacks. You don't want Tithe to reach 10 stacks, otherwise he boils over and does a huge amount of damage no matter where you're standing. The stacks can slowly fall off over time. Now in harder difficulties, you obviously want to kill these ads yourself without Tithe's help, and do anything you can to stop him from reaching 10 stacks and boiling over. In the case of soloing the boss, he does a ton of damage regardless, and since we have a perk that gives instant health and speed on the death of an enemy, we'll let him hit an ad, shoot the ad when it's done for it to count as us hurting it, and when it dies, we get health and a speed boost to run further away from Tithe to take less damage. The boss also puts a debuff on us when getting hit, which reduces our armor and makes us more susceptible to damage. It can be cleansed, and I try to do so after gaining a couple of stacks. You pretty much need defensives available at any time, or an ad for the boss to kill to get health and a speed boost fast. The idea is to keep moving and running away from the boss because he doesn't always hit you immediately if you're far enough away. Now these are how my attempts went. So my first few attempts at this boss were rough to say the least. For some reason, I didn't initially realize I could cleanse the armor debuff on my character and mainly jumped around like a headless chicken until dying. What I did find out though was that doing this as a DPS spec was gonna be impossible, as I didn't have enough in my healing arsenal to stay alive long enough until succumbing to death by I could hurt the boss a fair bit in a short time, but not enough to get even close to the middle section of the fight. So I settled on doing this as a healer. That didn't go too well. And I still wouldn't cleanse the armor debuff in the footage. It's really frustrating to watch this back. I don't know how I missed this mechanic going in. Anyways, I would return to the boss a few weeks later, now cleansing the armor debuff, and trying to constantly run away from the boss to reduce the damage I was taking. This was working slightly better, but the boss's HP would stay high because a healing ad would keep bringing up his HP, and I was too concerned about healing myself to really do anything. However, I noticed that if I occasionally use my basic attack on the boss and continue to use defensives and heal myself to stay alive, it might be possible to wither the boss's health away by the slimmest margins. I theorized that I could stay in the boss fight for multiple hours, slowly reducing the boss's HP, and maybe win the fight. It would just take constant healing, timing defensives, getting health on kill from Tithe, destroying the ads, and maybe, just maybe, I would have a chance. Or so I thought. If you didn't know, SWTOR bosses typically have a mechanic called Enrage, where if you take too long to kill a boss, they get a buff that greatly increases their damage and wipes a raid. Well, through research for this video, I occasionally use the site Jedipedia. You can view detailed information on NPC logic and abilities, which can be helpful in some cases to understand raid boss logic. Now, I didn't see an Enrage ability under Tyth's NPC information from when he was initially added to the game. And instead of spending 2 minutes searching the site to find Enrage information for raid bosses, I believed that Tyth would not have any sort of Enrage timer. And oh boy, does he have one. Firstly, you have to fight Tyth for a really long time to hit his Enrage. Okay, it's like 12 minutes to his Enrage, but this was so difficult that it felt like an eternity. My healer strat of withering the boss health forever would fail, as Tyth gets an Enrage buff where his damage continues to increase as long as it's active. Game over. I realized soloing Tyth was not a possible scenario. The Enrage would stop me in my tracks even if I could solo the boss forever. That, and when you get Tyth low enough, he'll continue to boil over more, since he'll channel an ability to gain more rage stacks, and more ads will continue to join the arena that must die. Next boss.
Do you like my corruptions?
Alright, I'll get right to the chase with this one. Here's what happens if you try to solo Bestia. Well, that was not a good sign. Holy crap, another larva already? Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. Coming in here. But the journey to get to the boss is what made these attempts so memorable. If you're a stealther, you can skip all the trash mobs and fight the boss right away. But since I'm a commando, I couldn't choose that option. The common mobs in this raid are pretty easy. You have some dude who occasionally reflects damage, a woman who heals her friends and zaps you with lightning, and a crazed ex-convict who shanks you non-stop. However, when you take the path to enter a boss's chamber, there are special ads that represent the boss's unique abilities or enemies you might have encountered in previous content. All the bosses in this raid are the Dreadmasters. They have the funny gold helmets and turn people insane. Dreadmaster Bestia is a fan of corrupting creatures, and she decided to corrupt these poor Shawclaws to stop me dead in my tracks. These dread-seated hunters are awful to handle alone. First, they have a buff where they have a chance to hurt you with kinetic damage every time you hit them. If you like to do AoE damage, you're dying absurdly fast. Second, if you don't kill both ads in the group in one fight encounter, they immediately reset and respawn, forcing you to try and complete the fight again. I'm gonna pop an Adrenal, I'm gonna try to kill one of them, trying to burn them down quick enough. Alright, and one burned down, sweet, that's what I needed. So I'm gonna have to die. Basically, I'm gonna have to kill one and then die each time. At least when you have a group, you have like group heals and you heal up, so it's not... Why? This means you must kite a ton, be extra careful using defensives, and pray you can win. Otherwise, it can lead to some rage. Dude, come on! He's not even on my screen! I need Adrenaline Rush so bad. Oh! I hate the Dread-Seated Hunters more than any mob in this entire game. That is quite literally a boss fight in itself. Die. There we go. Both dead. Which the worst part is I spent all that time and I know pretty much figure out exactly what's about to happen when I fight this boss. Funnily, coming back to get footage of the raid, I didn't have too much of a problem clearing these guys in my first attempt. Might just be from the initial trial and error and extra gear I've obtained since this was first recorded though. Next boss.
You should not have come!
This is a boss I have quite a bit of history with. Back in 2015, this raid, Explosive Conflict, wasn't set to the then maximum level of 60, so you could run in and complete trash mobs and fights while resisting most of the damage. I was able to solo the entire operation from start to finish.
As you can tell, I did manage to kill him solo,
including this multi-person minefield section. The way the fight is normally completed is you have one person in a watchtower who can reveal mines, allow some to be defused, and find probe droids in the minefield. The rest of the group kills the revealed probe droids, which drop defuse kits, defuses mines when the watchtower player enables them to be defused, and slowly clears the minefield to get to the boss fight. Well, I learned in 2015 that you could reveal the probes yourself, jump down and kill them, grab a defuse kit, go back to the watchtower, while trying to avoid the fire that occasionally spawns and can sometimes almost kill you. Enable a mine to be defused, defuse that mine, and then continue to clear the entire field using speed boost abilities before the defuse timer expires. You could then make it to the Colonel and take him out. So that was exactly what I was going to try to do in 2024. The mobs leading up to the encounter are a little tedious to tackle alone, but are fairly straightforward.
Cephas is targeting your position with heavy artillery.
Heavy artillery? What will I do? Give me my health back now. This next ad group is going to be a teeny tiny tough. Okay, let me tap target to the right guy. Oh, come on, don't interrupt me. Just burn, die already. Oh no, there he is. In all of his glory. I don't want to deal with you yet. Did not pass the vibe check. Mr. Defected Imperial Frontliner. Now you're more like a backliner. You like plasma grenade? Well, you know what? I can do it right back at you. Here we go. Let's both do a little plasma grenade. How about it? Let's make it fair. Once at the encounter, it was just a matter of reviewing my old footage and copying the strategy from back then. This failed miserably. 1.5 million! Oh no. Be enraged as well. Oh, this is dead. Oh. Can they hurt me through here? They can hurt me. I'm a hologram. How is this possible? Oh, well. Just a tiny bit more DPS and I could probably get him. Well, that was quick. Got it. Unfortunately, I couldn't DPS the probe droids fast enough before they would enrage and kill me super fast. This means I couldn't even clear a single mine, nor could I face the Colonel. I started to mess around with the encounter, finding a couple things to break. Exhaustion zone? Why am I able to run away? Wait, let's do this now. Did they chase me? Did I just figure out the cheese of a century? Oh wait, no. Oh no, he despawns! Oh, he's gonna despawn, isn't he? Nope. This is so stupid. Oh no. Oh, he despawns. Because if they didn't code it in to despawn, you could literally just keep going back into the hologram, shooting the enemy, go out, go back in, shoot the enemy, go back out, go back in, just rinse and repeat until you get the mine kit, and then just clear the whole field.
Activate turrets!
The masters have decreed. This ends here. One's about a propulsion rocket, give him a little tap. Oh, of course. But ultimately, I couldn't succeed at completing the fight. I believe a class that has a higher DPS average, or someone who's just better than me, might still be able to clear the entire minefield. I think it would be pretty cool if someone could clear this first section on level. I do warn you though, that the turrets in the minefield will enrage if you take too long. So it might stop you dead in your tracks even if you can manage to kill the probe droids. We're fine now. That's why I want to see. Ooh, what was that? Dude, there's like a plank or something falling through the floor. That was really weird. Next boss.
Shutdown requires administrator authority.
If a boss has sections that absolutely require more than one person, yeah, it ain't happening, Chief. GG, go next.
Those who will not serve will die.
From the raid that brought you a monster whose face only a mother could love, comes a fight with the terrifying Dread Guards. These minions of the Dreadmasters consist of Harad, who spams Force Lightning, Sifis, who stabs you in the chest with 2 lightsabers, and Calcera, who tells you they're more forgiving
than the Masters.
But before we fight them, we have to take a lengthy drive across the planet Asasian. On this road, we encounter what my old guild years ago called the Space Virginias. I have no idea why they call them that. Some angry bugs, and other dread enemies. The bugs and dread enemies aren't too bad to fight alone. It's just a matter of running away, since it can be easy to become overwhelmed. Alright, let me loot you real quick. Hey, Mr. Dreadguard Annihilator, I'm gonna walk by you. I'm gonna loot some of these bodies while I wait. Cannot stun you. You're immune to interrupts, unfortunately. Even though the game lets me hit you with an interrupt, it doesn't work. I don't know why I can use an interrupt, even though it says you can't be interrupt. Make it make sense, game. Alright, there we go. More credits.
How they scuttle about, these defenders of freedom.
Defenders of freedom. I'm the only defender of freedom here.
Bruh.
Once at the bosses, I knew the kill order was Harad, then Sifis, then Kelsera, so I was gonna try to do it normally. I am a small sacrifice.
None can stand before us.
There was an issue. It didn't matter what the kill order was or strategies I tried. I got deleted from existence before even taking at least one person with me to the grave. I would burn through all my defensives while Kelsera kept stacking an increased damage debuff that I couldn't escape due to not having a tank to taunt her off me, along with being electrocuted enough to light up an entire city. It turns out 1v3ing the Dread Guards in a small arena wasn't a good idea. Not much else to say here, other than that I got destroyed. Whoa, what is that guy doing? Whoa, he's like still moving around. Trash mob second phase. Next boss. Okay, I tried this one because I thought the boss looked funny because it's literally just a ball that has no animations. This comes from the newest raid at the time of this recording, the R4 Anomaly. I never tried to do this with an actual group, so this was a first impressions of the raid as well for me. Here we go, I'm really sick. Oh yeah, something's definitely gonna spawn here. Look at this ominous hallway. Oh shit! They take a lot of damage for regular droids, don't they? No, come on, get him, get him! Oh, thank God. Alright, I have 13 seconds and then you're going straight to hell, buddy. Alright, bye-bye! Boom! Whee! Wait, it's not a bottomless pit. Their bodies are just suspended. Ah, well. There's some guys right there. Fuck! Basically, you go through a bunch of small corridors and fight strong type enemies that are deceptively strong and kill you fast. There was a small section with fire tiles lighting up the floor and needing to kill enemies and open barriers to get through, so that was a nice change of pace. But then, we were on to the fight. The IPCPT encounter consists of avoiding fire tiles, fighting ads that spawn, and something to do with shapes and colors. What is bro doing? He's straight AFK. Oh fuck! Oh fuck! No! I'm taking a lot of damage. Uh-oh, wait, what's happening? Observation mode. Oh, give me a second to heal, guys. You can keep observing. I'm looking. I'm sorry! Oh, it's over. I'll admit, I didn't watch a guide. I also tried to attack the boss outside the arena and break the game, but the devs hard-coded a death mechanic for that. Overall, I rate my R4 Anomaly experience a 7 out of 10. With that said, this concludes the impossible bosses section of the video. There's other bosses that I didn't test that are available in the game, but I didn't want this video to be roughly 5 hours, with the majority of the runtime consisting of insta-deaths. On to the next section.
Lock down all city entrances and the spaceport.
The Operations Chief encounter was the fight that started my goal to solo an on-level raid boss years ago. This is a fight where a group needs to assign pairs of people to take out different groups in Oasis City to unlock a gate to fight the main boss in a command center. In story mode though, you can just bomb rush every group as a raid to unlock the gate. The goal is to avoid alerting patrol droids of your presence. Otherwise, you can't mount up or move around fast. I'm gonna need you to move, Mr. Oasis Enforcer Battle Droid. That would be really what the f- Which is vital to complete the encounter and engage the Operations Chief, as there's a time limit. In story mode, you have 10 minutes to complete this encounter, which is plenty of time, so it's just a matter of killing the patrol teams and not dying. However, before the encounter, we gotta clear some trash mobs. Most of the mobs are straightforward. You have a guy who won't take no for an answer. Time for negotiation has passed. Now making final offers. Flop over like a fish. Some shady shotgunners, the local meth dealer, and engineers who program probe droids to spam you with lasers. But the first trash mob group leading to this boss encounter is a giant pain in the ass alone. There's a mini-boss NPC that'll stop you dead in your tracks. I hate myself for not recording the footage when I finally killed this guy, but his damage output is huge, and it took kiting the enemy in the previous boss arena, non-stop healing spam, and occasionally using my basic attack to win the fight. Trust me when I say this was mind-numbingly boring, but still intense enough that one wrong move or missed healing ability meant I had to start all over. I quite literally switched to heal spec, and I just ran around this arena. God, that was horrible. Once I made it to the city entrance, the raid encounter began. Infiltrating the city isn't too bad. It's just a matter of killing patrol teams and moving on without being seen. My favorite part of this encounter is the chief asking all his teams to report in.
Ops to all security teams, report in.
But if you attack red team quick enough, they don't report in.
Gold team, all clear.
Green team, all clear.
Why the chief wouldn't find this suspicious, I have no
Ops to
clue.
red team.
But I made my way through the city, avoiding patrolling droids and trying to reach the command center. After all patrol teams were dead, I could fight the chief. The reason I consider this a can't do this forever boss is because while it's easy to make it to the boss and the end of the encounter, the damage output by the operations chief is too much to handle. You see, the chief can shoot me behind walls when I try to kite him, and he continues to spawn in probe droids that like to all rail shot me and drain my health. Trying to cheese the fight wasn't working, and it seems this fight wouldn't be possible alone. When I tried to solo this years ago, I ran into the same problem, but I had to check since I had powerful gear and game updates might have changed something.
Ops to all security forces, red alert.
They did not. Next boss.
Even a hutch won't touch some of my wares.
Olak is similar to the operations chief in that the encounter has two different parts. The first section involves obtaining credits from a buyer by beating him and his bodyguards up. These credits are used to purchase droids on the lower level of the boss arena, which help aid you up top. Recon droid, it would help out just a tiny bit if you could go after the guy that's actively killing me, instead of the wealthy buyer who can tank all your hits. Once you get the equivalent of 8 credits, Olak decides to forcing you to kill the buyer and go to the lower level. Now, you must fight your way through the waves of the droids you couldn't afford to purchase. I was kind of afraid this might happen. The second section is an extremely boring fight with Olak, where he and a few ads do like no damage and waste your time. I'll cut right to the chase with this one. The droid rows reset after every failed boss attempt, and droids cost either 1 or 2 credits. No matter how I would try to get a perfect board to increase my chances of success, I couldn't DPS the droid rows once making my way downstairs quickly enough. I would eventually become overwhelmed by the continuously spawning waves and die. I did run into a couple of funny glitches and moments from these attempts though. And well, where are you going? No, don't run away! I actually have never even noticed that droid runs away at the start of the fight. What? Bring the big boy in. How did he die that quickly? He had 800k health. No, that's not... They weren't supposed to do that. The game gave me some RNG. One less row to fight, and still, it ain't happening. I can't survive it. Hey, can I go back in the elevator? Time to show my clients how it's done. Next boss.
Stop them! Stop them!
Going into this fight, I thought it would be a walk in the park, but I was completely wrong. As always. In story mode, getting to the boss arena consists of fighting a big guy who puts up a shield to heal himself, and some weak enemies that die in a few hits. After that, we're right at the battle. Gate Commander Draxus is an encounter focused on fighting through multiple ad waves. You fight the boss a little, ads spawn, you kill those ads, another wave of ads spawn, you kill them, the boss shows up every now and again. It's not too bad. I initially thought this would be easy, since every time I've done this with a group, it feels like I take no damage. Then again, I wasn't being attacked by 6 enemies at once. The real reason I couldn't fight this boss forever was Draxus's damage. I didn't think the main boss would be the issue, but he is relentless with lobbing nades at the player, and the damage gets overwhelming once you run out of defensives. Needless to say, I didn't spend more than 20 minutes on the guy. I knew there was no shot I was soloing him. Next boss.
You cannot stop the sacrifice!
Come on, you didn't think I'd skip out on trying to solo Revan? This is probably one of my favorite fights in the entire game. You battle Revan in a temple with multiple phases and purple puddles of death, ultimately leading to destroying a machine core that could end up decimating Yavin 4. Like with Tyth, I didn't do my homework well enough on Jedipedia, and assumed there was a possibility that Revan couldn't enrage. The final phase is a DPS race to blow up the machine core before dying. This led me to believe you could get to the very end without Revan enraging, and the final DPS race would determine if you were screwed. So he has an enrage timer if you take an absurd amount of time to do this fight.
You could have avoided this fate.
Before we get into the juicy details, I have to rant for a second. Who on the dev team thought it was smart to let trash mobs respawn? If you don't kill all the mobs leading to a boss quick enough in this raid, they will spawn back in, which is infuriating, man. It makes it a race against the clock to kill a trash mob, die on purpose, spawn back in, and try to kill the entire group before enemies slowly spawn back in and ruin your flow. The first group wasn't horrible, but I realized that the final group to get to Revan would be impossible for me to do alone. However, I knew from playing this raid hundreds of times, if you hug the right wall to get to the terminal to reach Revan, you don't aggro the mobs. Usually. How did I pull you? Kill me. Beat me up. Stab me. Shank me. So, I would kill the 2 Revanite commandos on the right to let me hug the wall every time I wanted to attempt Revan. They would obviously respawn between attempts, but this allowed me to fight the boss, which I would otherwise not be able to do. Once you click the terminal, you're treated to this badass cutscene of Revan looking all cool, while he implies that he's gonna blow up the planet because he hates the Emperor.
Everyone outside the temple will die shortly. It has to be this way. This is for the good of the galaxy, I promise you.
To start, the first phase involves fighting Revan while he yeets you away every so often and sends Beyblade lightsabers to make you lose all your HP. Usually when this is done with a group, the tank wants their back to breakable pillars in fear of getting knocked off the boss arena. But it turns out, Revan doesn't even push you very far if you don't have your back to a pillar in story mode, so it's not much of an issue. Although, if you happen to be in the path of a pillar when he pushes you, you'll fly halfway across the map to break it. The first phase is pretty much a tank and spank with a couple of Beyblades that can be launched off the arena. Now, I learned that if I were a DPS character, I could push Revan to the next phase with his companion, HK-47. When SWTOR first launched, HK was tough to deal with in the 2 flashpoints he appeared in before this raid, and here, it's no different. His damage output when you're the only one in the raid is too much to handle, so you get to hear some of his cool voice lines before getting melted immediately. Oh my god, this mob is chasing me!
Consolation. Your deaths will serve my master's ends.
And if I played my healing spec, Revan would enrage before I could push him to the next phase, leading to an untimely demise. This fight was a bust, as there was no shot I was taking out HK and moving on. But that didn't mean I was gonna quit without trying to break the fight. If you shoot the boss outside the arena, Revan sort of stares at you and pushes you away with his mind. This temple also defies the laws of physics, so you're free to walk on air for a bit. Did I mention some of this architecture is scalable? It was fun trying to stop Revan, but I'm afraid I'm not powerful enough to 1v1 this Star Wars legend. I just really like that when that plays. Ah! 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 Next boss.
The Eternity Vault.
I know I said all the puzzle bosses were impossible earlier, but this was one I had a huge hunch on being possible. The Ancient Pylons puzzle encounter consists of 2 pylons on opposite sides of the map that must be solved to open the Eternity Vault. There are 4 rows of colors on the pylon, which you solve by clicking panels to move the center blocks to match the corresponding colors on the sides of each row. The raid team splits in half, and each group solves the pylon while occasionally fighting adds. You can't move to the next row until both teams have solved their section. Solving both pylons isn't difficult. You can go to a website and put how your pylon is set up, and it'll tell you which panels to click to complete the encounter as quickly as possible. From what I just described, this might seem like it had no shot of working. So why did I believe it might be soloable? Well, as mentioned earlier, my class has quite a few tricks up its sleeve to run around fast. My set bonus when I kill an enemy grants me a speed boost. I have a tactical that makes it so a knockback ability grants a short movement increase. I can replace my reflect ability with propulsion round to launch myself back far, and I have an ability called Hold the Line, which grants me a small speed boost. Looking at the world map, I thought the two pylons weren't separated by a huge margin, so I developed a theory to test. I would reset the encounter until I got two pylons with a relatively low amount of clicks to solve all the rows. The colors are RNG each time you reset the fight, and there's a chance for pylons to be faster to solve depending on what you get. 2, 4, only 8, okay. Left, right, right, right. Ooh, that's not bad. 8 rotations? Well, we'll have to see what south is. That's 8. And this is all left. This is a really good one then. Okay, I mean, this is arguably probably the best pylon RNG we have, both only 8 spins. From there, I could solve one pylon section, save an enemy to kill that spawns, kill the enemy, get a speed boost, use my movement abilities to get to the other side, solve the other pylon, and just continue moving back and forth until I clear the entire puzzle. There are only 2 major roadblocks in this. First, if you take too long to finish the fight, it will automatically reset. And second, the longer you stay in this encounter, the more difficult it is to kill the enemies. Eventually, you get elite level accolades that spawn, and they do huge amounts of damage, so you can become quickly overwhelmed. Even with knowing these roadblocks, I was still going to try. So I killed the trash mobs and made my way to the fight. Surprisingly, my theory was working fairly well, and I could complete a large portion of the puzzle on both sides without much of a struggle. Unfortunately, the roadblock that was destroying me were those damn accolades. Not only were they hurting me a bunch, but they would spawn on the opposite side of the map and continue to chase me as I went back and forth solving the puzzle. This would inevitably lead to a wipe, and I would devolve to trying to find mechanics to cheese and maybe despawn the enemies during the encounter to make my chance of soloing this easier. And the pylon's gonna reset. The pylons have reset. I'm breaking into the vault illegally the wrong way. I was desperate to make this work, as I had a gut feeling that this might be possible. Overall, my best attempt was getting 3/4 of the pylons done on both sides. I think I could have completed one pylon entirely for sure before dying or the fight resetting, but the accolades would always overwhelm me and stop me from completing the puzzle. I came to realize that even if I got a perfect run, accolades dead or bugged, I would still most likely run out of time while solving the final pylon row. It hurt being really close to the end and failing. But I'm glad I gave the encounter a shot and didn't write it off. Maybe another class would be stronger for this, or another strategy might have worked better. But for now, due to dying to the accolades before the fight resets, this is certified as a boss I couldn't do forever without dying. And that does it for the Can't Do This Forever section. Now, let's move on. Dash Rude, not to be confused with Darude, lives deep within the Darvanis Desert. Throughout the past few months of making this video, I've gone in here to get B-roll footage and to try to get out of the map for fun. However, it seems someone from the SWTOR dev team is watching my every move. You see that rock structure over there? Yeah, you used to be able to climb out of the map and fight the boss for a little before he despawns, or explore walled off areas of the map. Now they put an invisible wall there. And you know that boss fight with Sparky from earlier? Well, since editing that section, they disabled collision on the metal piece I used to get out of the map. There's still a way to get out though. As I edit this in real time, they are ruining my fun. Where's my check for this QA testing, Broadsword? I want my money. Alright, unhinged rant aside, I now believe the conspiracy theory that someone on the dev team is watching me from afar in game and patching some of the bugs I'm finding in these instances. Anyways, back to the boss fight. Dash Rudel is an encounter with only a few mechanics. Mainly, he does some damage while occasionally tossing you in the air or kicking you to Narnia. What? The only mechanic that changes the dynamic of the fight is the sandstorm. The way the fight is intended to go is you hide under a shield so you don't take extra damage from the Darvanis weather. The longer you're in the sandstorm, the more stacks appear on your character and the more damage you take. You can carry the shield to a couple of different checkpoints so you stay out of the sandstorm as long as possible, but we're not doing any of the mechanics correctly. Instead, my plan was to kite the boss around a huge battle arena and hurt him while dealing with the sandstorm damage. In story mode, this damage isn't even that bad. And hell, there are points where I can even go above 100 stacks, and it still wasn't too much of a problem to deal with. You do have a personal shield that you can use every 5 minutes that is found from a vendor at the entrance of the raid, but I found out that my reactive shield generates healing stacks from sandstorm damage. So in some cases, I like getting tickled by the damage, if Dash Road has beaten me up quite a bit for those big reactive shield heals. Originally, this was a long script of all the theory crafting I did to fight the boss. Like for example, how I thought kiting the boss around this particular rock was the best strat, even though it was hit or miss if I was gonna die in 2 minutes. No, dude, come on! Or panic during a half-decent run. No. When I have to do it again, man, come on. But I found the mother of all cheese. For NPC pathing. Do you notice some of these crashed starships in the arena? Well, if we run up to the top of one while Dash Road Rash is close to us and jump down, our friend decides it's better to take the long way around to get to us, allowing for plenty of time to heal and get defensives off cooldown. While it's an incredibly boring method, this worked extremely well, and I found that this crashed starship near the start of the fight was the best place to get the job done. Luckily, messing around with your friends on Discord can make time fly by quickly. Bro, stop pushing me away.
Yeah, come on.
This is war on the devs.
War on the devs.
I can't kill this guy in an unintended way. Game exploiters are truly the most oppressed group in society.
I'm probably gonna hop off. I wanna call my lady.
Bros before hoes, Matt.
See ya.
Hey, son, I've been talking to you all night instead of her. What do you think I'm doing right now?
Oh shit! LeBron James.
Lego.
Even though I was well on my way to soloing this boss, the dreaded
Enrage timer
appeared. I was taking way too long on the boss fight, so now he did 200% more damage. If the boss didn't enrage and I ended up going to like 200 stacks of the sandstorm, could I have soloed him successfully? I mean, I like to think I could have if I had a perfect run and could use my personal shield every 5 minutes to reduce the sandstorm effects, but there's no way to know for certain. But at this point, the Enrage timer was too strong, and our Juggernaut friend gets to live another day. I'm not kidding. I was getting B-roll for this section, and I found a way to exploit the boss and kill him. No! No, my mic hasn't been picking this up this whole time! I already showed Broadsword to patch the extreme mountaineering, so I don't get permabanned for releasing this video. I tried to recreate this bug like 20 times to show the devs, but I couldn't ever get it to work without the boss immediately despawning when he couldn't hit me. Maybe a cosmic ray affected... So corny! Maybe a cosmic ray affected the server when I was soloing Dash Road so he couldn't despawn. I might be snitching, but I really don't want to lose my account over this. Also, turns out you can only go to 200 stacks of the sandstorm. So yeah, if there was no Enrage timer, I'm comfortable with saying I think I could solo this. Next boss. Trying to solo this boss is the definition of locking in, and I mean that in the most sincere way. The Golden Fury can be found on Makeb, and it's a fight for the ages. There are some Isotope 5 canisters that reduce the damage you take from the Golden Fury, so you shoot those every so often and continue to attack the boss. They respawn, so you never have to worry about them running out. The boss does pretty heavy damage throughout, so you need to constantly heal yourself to stay alive. He'll also occasionally shoot a big evil laser in the middle, which you have to get away from. Otherwise, you get obliterated instantly. Every time the laser is shot, 2 elite level ads spawn, which you must take out. If you don't, you'll get overwhelmed with too many elite mobs being alive. Years ago, people 2-man this boss by having someone play an operative or scoundrel sitting in cover, dodging all the attacks from the elite mobs while healing their main DPSer / tank. But you can't take cover with these classes anymore, and the gunslinger and sniper advanced classes who can take cover can't self-heal effectively even if they could do this trick. So it's kinda useless. This means I would have to kill the elite mobs myself while also tanking the damage from the boss, trying to stay alive until getting a small break while he prepares to fire the big evil laser. I'm not lying when I say this was extremely stressful. Oh my god, I'm still 1 health! How am I still alive? This is crazy. You need to constantly heal yourself and have defenses ready while sometimes attacking the boss. When ads spawn, you have to throw the healing yourself mindset out the window and burn the ads. Eventually, I found myself getting into a rhythm, and I was thoroughly impressed with how far I was managing to get into the fight without dying. That is, until the dreaded Enrage icon appeared. Oof. I knew this was coming, but it hurt to see it after I was doing so well. If the boss didn't have an Enrage timer, I'm pretty confident I could get through the entire fight, even with the final burn phase section. But if I'm barely surviving the normal fight, that increased damage isn't going to do me any favors. Next boss. Since I first stepped foot in this raid well over a decade ago, I always called this boss the Withering Horror. But no, it's the Writhing Horror. I put my NA education to good use and Google searched the difference between the two words. Spoiler alert, they don't mean the same thing. Leading to the encounter, there are two types of enemy groups. First, you have some droids to kill, one of which can stun lock you and kill you within a few seconds if you're not careful. Then, a couple mini versions of the boss that'll slap you around. You don't want to kill the bigger guys first though, otherwise they explode, revealing boatloads of Tren in their system to give to all the small ones. The small enemies become absolutely yoked, and it's terrifying. Some buttons are pressed, we can skip this trash mob entirely, and boom, we're at the fight. The motto of the Writhing Horror encounter is to never stand close to the boss. The worst she can do is spit at you endlessly versus hitting you and doing a lot of damage, so it's important to keep distance. As the fight continues, the boss spawns a random amount of larvae in a jealous male. A little area will glow pink once the ads spawn. When you're in the pink area of life, you take greatly reduced damage from ads. However, the jealous male likes to knock players back and force them away from that pink puddle, putting them into the zone of hell. If you stand still after getting knocked back, you'll die in a few seconds due to the overwhelming damage. And since we're the only player in here and can't have a tank taunt the jealous male to keep it away from us, we have to use Hold the Line occasionally, as it provides immunity from knockbacks. And if that fails, we can use our speed boost and insta heal from killing an enemy, kite the ads. This worked well as the fight continued, and I thought this might be one of the fights I could successfully solo. I didn't even care when the boss enraged. I was that unbothered that I didn't think a 200% damage increase from the spit damage would change anything. At this point, you might as well start taking a drink every time I say this. I ran into some issues. You know how I just mentioned that the jealous male knocks us back? Well, the enraged spit damage, plus getting knocked out of the pink puddle and standing in place for about a second, led to me losing practically all my health unless I had defensives active. This meant that unless I got an absolutely perfect run where there was a low larva spawn count, complete RNG by the way, I popped Hold the Line at the perfect time to not get knocked back, and timed defensives well enough with the chaos of it all, this was pretty much going to be impossible. The enraged spit damage wasn't terrible, but that slight increase was too much for me to handle. I attempted this boss a few times as I kept gearing my character, and it made absolutely no difference. I wasted hours of my life going back to this fight for no reason, and I can't even explain why. In my heart, I thought I could do it, but I was delusional. Fun fact though, if you try to cheese the fight in this little corner where only the jealous male and boss can hit you, it still doesn't matter. Because you can't really attack the Writhing Horror often, the male's damage plus enraged spit packs a punch, and if too many larvae are alive at once, the spit becomes double enraged. I got cooked by this beaver. Relax, don't kill me, you stupid bug, stop! Stop! Can I knock him back? I can! Oh my god, so low! Come on! You almost got me there. Wasn't enough. Looking like the duck from Chicken Little. Probably I've been hawked between those eyes. Next boss. After this video releases, I'm probably gonna take a couple more cracks at this guy, because this is one that I still think is possible, if only by the slimmest margins. To get to the boss, you kill some rats. No, not those rats. These guys, Womp Rats. Then we're at the fight arena. They made the bull thing from Attack of the Clones a raid boss, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna skip explaining almost all the mechanics because this boss has the best cheese known to man. Normally in the fight, there's supposed to be a tank on the ground fighting Thrasher, but if there isn't, he will start spamming his screeching ability non-stop until the tank comes back and gets closer. Well, what would happen if Thrasher could never attack the tank in the fight? What if, I don't know, say I had Thrasher knock me up into the rafters above the boss, and I just never came down to fight him directly. As you can guess, this is exactly what I did. In a normal encounter with a full group, this could hurt a raid team badly, as the raid-wide damage from his Screech would start to stack up. But since we're the only person taking damage, the effect on my HP is surprisingly mild. If I fought the boss directly, I would die in about 30 seconds. But by doing this, oh, it's smooth sailing, baby. The only other mechanic in this fight you all should know about is snipers will occasionally spawn in the rafters and need to die. If they don't, they will overwhelm me with damage. Or if snipers are alive on every side of the arena, the encounter will fail and I'll die. Alright, here are the problems. First, Thrasher would sometimes bug out and reset from me doing this cheese. Oh, that's different. So wait, if I'm up here, what happens if I shoot him? He's gonna spam roar, isn't he? Yeah, they roar. Okay. What, because I'm a healer, he doesn't want to do the mechanic now? Second, the location of Thrasher before he starts screeching can't be placed well or be guaranteed to be a spot where I can hurt the boss often, as the snipers spawn in completely RNG areas. Third, the Enrage timer. The scream with the damage increase actually hurts quite a bit, but by timing defensives and using the big heal packs that are just chilling in the arena for some reason, I could stay alive longer. The problem is the mixture of dealing with the sniper spawning and the constant focus on healing and defensives made it really hard to find time to get in the range of Thrasher to hurt him. The Enrage timer made this substantially more difficult, but this is one with a good amount of luck with sniper spawns, and getting into a decent rhythm, it might be possible to still solo this guy regardless. It would just be a really close fight. Next boss. Before writing the script for Bone Thrasher, I anticipated that it was going to be an entire novel of writing. The time I've spent on this boss is hefty, and I've learned a lot, but two people have done something incredible. My friends, this boss has been successfully soloed, one video of which I didn't find hidden in plain sight on YouTube, and one who has done it as I've been making this video. Before we get into their incredible achievements, let's take it back a notch to explain the boss fight. This raid encounter is reminiscent of the scene from Return of the Jedi, where Luke has to fight the Rancor. We have to fight Gamorrean guards and bounty hunters to meet with Karaga the Unyielding, a Hutt who promptly makes it known he hates loiters on his property. In the Rancor pit, we fight a couple cats, and then Pimp Master Bone Thrasher jumps out. The way this fight plays out is the Rancor will do a couple swipes and slams every few seconds. He does his signature power swipe, the occasional pimp hand swipe, the knock you in the air slam, and the ground pound of death. You can avoid taking damage on his swipes. All you have to do is walk under his legs and get behind him every time he's about to hit you. Or in my case, by running towards him constantly, you pretty much never get hit by these abilities. The knock you in the air slam sends you flying unless you hold the line to be immune to getting thrown in the air, and the ground pound of death hurts quite a bit and gives a nasty debuff that lasts for 10 seconds, and makes it so it'll insta-kill you if you eat one of his swipes head on. Periodically, by hurting the boss, a Gamorrean will spawn in which you want to destroy for a health on kill bonus. My piggy to burn. Oh, this is gonna hurt! Oh, he missed. Never mind. And because if Bone Thrasher eats him, he gets a bonus in damage output. No! Come on! At around 50%, the boss sends out 2 cats mid-fight that you have to kill. And besides that, this is pretty much a rundown of the entire fight. But here comes the part on why I would fail. Unfortunately, I couldn't DPS the boss quick enough and he would enrage. Initially, Bone Thrasher enraging isn't all doom and gloom though. You can still dodge most attacks and keep your health up, but once you get hit with a ground pound of death, things get complicated. First, the damage you take is a little extreme, so you're already hurting. Second, there is a small chance that Bone Thrasher does a knock you in the air slam immediately after you get ground pounded and have the debuff to take increased damage. When Bone Thrasher isn't enraged, this hurts, but is easily healable, but when he does 200% increased damage as well... Fuck! I died. With decent enough RNG, I could fight Bone Thrasher for a while after he was enraged, but his health was too high for me to make a difference. If I won a healing spec and attempted to survive his enraged damage onslaught, I would still get overwhelmed regardless, so it didn't seem I was going to be successful. However, 2 legendary players have soloed this boss, and we're going to go over how they did it. Meet the channels Enrage, SWTOR, and Master Chief.
I need a weapon.
Back in November 2022, originally soloed Bone Thrasher playing a Jedi Shadow. They did this back when the gear rating maxed out at 340, not even able to hit 344. With a mixture of consistent DPS, healing on damage hits, and resisting damage at the perfect time to avoid powerful enraged hits, they successfully took down the beast. What's crazier is originally even completed this feat in 2020 when the max level was 75, adding to this impressive accomplishment. Be sure to watch their full attempt linked down below. Now we move on to Master Chief, aka Juiced DPS. Juice over here managed to solo Bone Thrasher in May 2024, as I've been working on this video. He's a Sith Marauder, a class which does very strong damage and can also heal from damage dealing hits. Juice managed to carefully time defensives and absolutely DPS bomb rush the boss to take him down before it got too spicy. If you look back in their channel's history, they live streamed some attempts, dedicating plenty of time understanding the inner workings of Bone Thrasher. Their video is also linked down below, so be sure to give both these players some love. So you might be wondering, what led to their success? Besides their elite gamer skills, they were extremely smart with their class picks. Looking at present day 7.5.1, Shadows absolutely dominate the charts for DPS. Marauders, specifically the Annihilation spec that Juice DPS plays, isn't so shabby either. Strong DPS is a must for this fight, as it allows you to get closer to the finish line without having to deal with an enraged Bone Thrasher for too long. In Originally's case, they did this without OP 344 gear, so their DPS wasn't as strong, leading to a longer enrage phase. Juice, on the other hand, managed to get the boss pretty low before hitting enrage, as they did this recently with the now present powerful gear. The other thing working for these two are abilities that allow them to heal from hurting the boss. This passive healing from hurting the boss is particularly convenient, as they don't have to waste time healing themselves as I needed to occasionally do as a commando, allowing for maximum uptime for hurting the boss. And the last point, which was a godsend in Originally's case, are useful defenses for the encounter. Originally had the ability to straight up resist certain attacks when popping resilience, or by doing a stealth trick thingy. I don't play Shadows, so I don't fully know how this works. Which is helpful whether you're about to eat an RNG 500k hit or general damage from Bone Thrasher. Juice could pop his Undying Rage to take 99% less damage briefly if things were about to get spicy, or Saber Ward to absorb some damage. Two players with different circumstances, both able to stop Bone Thrasher alone. If there's any call to action to give now, it's challenging any of you viewers to try and solo this boss with a different class other than Marauder or Shadow. Hell, I'd love to see if somebody can get a great run and solo it with a commando. I don't play the dot spec available in my class, so that might work nicely here. I have a couple tips and a pace spin in the description down below if anyone wants to try this with a commando, because there's some extra technical mumbo jumbo I didn't discuss that might be useful. Also, here's a neat idea I tested. I just figured something out. So what I have to do is I have to reset the whole instance to kill all the ads again, because every time I die, or the first time I enter this encounter, he comes out this gate, right?
Yes.
Now, I can't run back in time to get here when he's doing this. But if I reset the instance, the first time you kill the ads, you can walk on this platform for this very brief time it's open. So what I'll do is I'll reset the instance, and then when he walks out, get on the platform, jump to that, and then I shouldn't take damage from the acid, and then start the fight from there.
Bro's gonna have to change his script again.
Oh, here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go! I only get one chance for this. Alright, open it. Wait, wait. There we go. Oh my god! It worked!
Holy shit.
Oh, can I... Oh my god! It worked!
That's crazy.
It's gonna keep resetting. I don't think it's gonna work. No! They were smart. They coded it so if he can't attack you, he just resets.
Well, he hasn't reset yet.
You see, he poses for like a half a second. We were so close to greatness, boys. They expected someone to try that. With all that said, it's now time to go to the last section, the soloed bosses. It was the only raid boss I ever soloed on level years ago, so I knew I had to come back and beat him again, only this time, way faster. Since I already have a video on the prep and footage to solo this boss, I'll give a super quick TLDR of how this fight works and the way to solo it. Then, I'll tell you how I was going to solo the fight substantially faster than before. The Eyeless is a fight that you can only do during the Rakul event in SWTOR. You fight the swamp-ass, dead tree-looking thing in a large arena. Now, the Eyeless is a bit of a slow-moving boss, and in our case, we can use speed boost abilities to run back and forth across the arena to slowly wither him down and heal up instead of fighting him head-on and dying. By running back and forth away from the boss, we can avoid some of his mechanics much easier and take our sweet old time. And you might be thinking, what about an Enrage timer? That's the kicker. The Eyeless doesn't have an Enrage timer for some reason, so it's only a matter of going back and forth, occasionally hurting the boss, healing up, and then taking him out. The only other important thing to know is that the Eyeless occasionally spawns in Rakul ads that need to be killed, but the strategy is to leave a few up, get them really low, and then kill them one by one when we need a health on kill and a speed boost to get away from the boss using our set bonus. Also, I use the tactical to make my knockback ability grant a speed boost instead of one to increase my DPS. The first time I soloed this raid boss, it took roughly 2 hours and 8 minutes of non-stop grinding and focus to beat him. I played my healing spec to ensure I could stay alive and merely used my default attack ability to hurt the boss and played it safe. However, this time, I wanted to see if I could beat the boss in under an hour for this video. So I swapped to my DPS spec. This meant that I was way more susceptible to damage, but I could kill the boss way quicker. So I reviewed my old video on the boss, went into the instance, and began the fight. And honestly, it took a little to get back into the swing of things using my strategy, but when it worked, it really worked. I was burning the boss down fast, and I could tell a sub-hour run might be possible even when I was screwing up and not hurting the boss as much as I wanted to. There were a few close calls, but nothing to make me rage quit or fail halfway into the fight. No! No, 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 no! Come on! Well, why didn't it count? Why didn't it count? Give me health! Give me health! Give me health! Give me health and run! Thank you. God, the day they introduce an Enrage timer to the Eyeless is the day the game dies. Although, there were multiple points where I played it safe and immediately ran away even with full health, rather than getting greedy and sticking around to get a couple cheap shots in. I mean, hey, I didn't want to die after fighting the boss for so long, you know? From doing this with the DPS spec, it made me realize that maybe I could have killed him faster all those years ago. But to be fair, gearing wasn't as strong as it was now, so maybe I have rose-tinted glasses on. But after a valiant effort of ping-pong and Rakul killing, the Eyeless went down. Yes! Sub-hour! And of course, 600 credits. You know, you can't go wrong with the 600 credits from the Eyeless. I don't know why he would carry credits, but he does. I had successfully soloed him in roughly 58 minutes. Out of all the bosses I successfully soloed, this one went the smoothest. But that's probably because he's the only guy I'd done before. It was a nice trip down memory lane, but it was time to get serious. Because the next encounters would not be so forgiving. Next boss. Out of all the fights in this video, I think this one meant the most to me. It's the first raid boss in the entire game. The Annihilation Droid is a protector of the Eternity Vault. Our journey begins by being attacked by Rakata weapons on a Republic cruiser. We then have to use escape pods to reach the surface of Belsavis, home of the vault. After landing, we become accustomed to the wildlife and destroy the turret defenses, keeping us from reaching the vault. However, the ancient warlord, Soa, has other plans. He sends down his gigantic droid to wreck our shit, and it's up to us to take it out. When you're the only one in the instance, the Annihilation Droid will shoot occasional missiles, hit you with fire damage and a debuff, use a sweep ability that stops you from moving no matter where you are in the arena, and eventually use a missile barrage ability that you can either tank or hide behind pillars to not get hit and heal up. He will also sometimes call out he is engaging Storm Protocol, which places red AoEs under your feet to avoid. But before I go any further, I need to tell you all something. I was trying to solo this boss for roughly 2 months, and my strategy changed a couple times throughout. So for the purpose of making this video flow better and be easier to follow, think of this boss as having 4 mini sections that signify different milestones in my quest to solo. The first is attempting the headless chicken approach, aka humble beginnings. The second is adopting the lessons from an exploiter approach. Well, you'll understand what I mean soon. The third is discovering the oh wow, this might work approach. And the fourth is simply titled Victory. So the headless chicken approach is pretty self-explanatory. I wanted to see how far I could get fighting this guy head on. No looking for cheese or anything. It turned out okay-ish, but I couldn't do enough damage to make enough of a dent before inevitably hitting the Enrage timer and getting cooked.
Your destruction is my purpose.
My defensives could keep me in the fight for a while, but the damage was becoming too much even without the Enrage timer. Especially from the obnoxious fire debuff, since it couldn't be cleansed or removed and would tick for a while. But through my desperation of trying to survive, I found something strange. If I ran away far enough in either direction of the boss, or ran down the middle away from the boss arena, the Annihilation droid wouldn't be able to attack me, giving me a bit of leeway to heal back up and return in to continue the fight. Of course, the boss would start attacking me way before I could even hit him, or get into range when returning to the arena, presumably to stop someone from cheesing the fight in such a way. But for now, I kept that knowledge in the back of my head and continued fighting the boss head on, ultimately getting stepped on and rolled. This led to the development of what I like to call the lessons from an exploiter approach. If you go deep into the depths of YouTube, there resides a video from 2012 titled Solo XRR3 Annihilation Droid Eternity Volt Commando. In it, it's crazy, ain't it? The player finds a way to hit the boss using his Hail of Bolts ability while hiding behind one of the pillars used to take cover from the missile barrage. Interestingly, the boss can't see the player even after missile barrage is over, thus allowing for the player to do damage while not getting hit with any abilities at all. He occasionally has to jump down to dodge red AoEs from Storm Protocol, but he was able to solo the entire boss using this cheese. No fire debuff, no missiles to knock the player down, nothing. In the present day, you can still get in a spot to hit the boss using Hail of Bolts while he's using the missile barrage ability to do damage without being hit, but unlike years ago, the boss will continue to shoot regular missiles at you through the pillar after he's done with missile barrage, thus ensuring you can't take 0 damage if you want to hide forever. Also, when you're hit with missiles, you get knocked down. So theoretically, if you get knocked down and try to move your mouse or keyboard for player movement, the game seemingly knows what you're trying to do and will sometimes phase you through the pillar, guaranteeing death. Oh no, fuck! As once the boss activates Storm Protocol, you can't move away from the red AoEs. Please kill me. There's one small thing I failed to mention though. If you don't peek your head out and never stand out in the open, revealing yourself from behind the pylon, the Annihilation droid never hits you with fire and gives you that nasty debuff. So I came up with a theory, credited to Yono El Grande for inspiration. I would go healing spec and hide behind the left pillar the entire fight. I would then get into a spot where I could hit the boss with Hail of Bolts without him being able to hit me with Missile Barrage. This meant the only damaging abilities I would have to deal with were regular missiles and occasionally having to step down to deal with the red AoEs from Storm Protocol. The boss would never throw fire on me, I could avoid Missile Barrage entirely, and I could still be in a spot to attack. When the droid inevitably enrages, I would just have to put my big boy healing pants on and sweat hard to stay alive while pushing his HP down further and further. It would just be a matter of getting hit with missiles and not being on the red AoE when damage went out. Yeah, this theory failed miserably. The biggest problem was the high probability of error. Since I'm on the pillar when hit with missiles that knock me down, simply hitting my keyboard at all by accident meant I could glitch and phase through the pillar, meaning death due to the red AoEs from Storm Protocol. And if the boss called out Storm Protocol and a missile was headed right towards me as the red AoEs were going out, I would have to make a split-second reaction to immediately jump down or get knocked down on the pillar, hit my keyboard trying to get away from the red AoE, glitch through, and die. Also, I failed to remember that the boss occasionally does a sweep ability that forces me to stand still, which could mess up my whole flow even worse. I knew with perfect RNG, this method might work, but it was way too prone to error, and I barely hurt the boss on all my runs without messing up and dying on the spot. At that point, I spent a few weeks away from the boss, only returning once I had a new theory to test. And oh boy, I had a great one. The oh wow, this might work approach was a foolproof, no-nonsense plan to beat the droid. I would start the fight as normal, either doing as much damage as I could before Enrage, or practicing the master plan. Remember the discovery of the boss not being able to hit us if we were far away enough from earlier? Well, if I was taking too much damage and was close to dying, I would run far to the left side to a safe spot to heal up and let defenses come off cooldown. I could then come back to fight the boss, now not being on the verge of death. Once the boss enraged though, I would immediately run back to the left side, get far away enough to take no damage, heal up, get all my defenses off cooldown, and then enact my master plan. Okay, I was sort of figuring this out as I went. First, I would find roughly the spot where I could get closest to the boss without him targeting and hurting me. This was next to a roaming Tauntaun NPC, who offered plenty of moral support. Roaming Tauntaun, we're close. He will be dead. You will be free. I'll open the vault door and you can wander in. You might get killed by some evil, like, Eternity Vault defenses, you know? Second, I would triple check that all my defenses were off cooldown and I was at full health. I was not going to be greedy about this. Third, I would wait a couple seconds after the Annihilation Droid announces Storm Protocol. This was done so I wouldn't have to deal with the red AoEs as I attempted to hurt the boss, as the ability would have run its course, so to speak. Fourth, I would execute my special bombing run. Now I'm going to run through this footage of a typical bombing run slowly to explain what's happening, as it might be a little confusing. In my approach, I would pop Diversion. This gave me a 45% chance to dodge a missile attack. Sometimes the droid would do the sweep to freeze me in place, but it would seemingly fail half the time, or pop during my approach, so I didn't care much about it. I would then get on the pillar, popping my reflect bubble. Missiles reflect damage back to the boss and heal me, so it was a get out of jail free card for a couple of seconds to keep me safe. And here's something I learned that's really special. For a super small window, the moment the Annihilation Droid does the animation to shoot missiles at the player, you can poke your head out to hit him without getting hurt with the powerful fire ability and debuff. In this footage, you can see how I poke my head out twice to hit him with an Electronet and a Demolition round. If you poke your head out and he's not doing the missile animation, this happens. So I had to be extremely careful when doing this trick. After hurting the boss, I would make sure I didn't jump around or touch my keyboard if knocked from the missiles, pop defensives and hold the line to increase my speed, and then run back to the safe area where I couldn't take damage. If at any point the boss started doing missile barrage, I would go back to the pillar, get in the spot to hit him with hail of bolts, and then stand out in the open shortly as the boss is stunned for a couple seconds after using that ability. I would then of course run back to a safe area where I couldn't take damage once again. This was the plan I would do without compromise. Luckily, it was working, and I was so happy that I was on the road to kill the Annihilation Droid. Looking at this footage, you can see the boss was getting devastatingly low. And if you know anything about the Annihilation Droid, it's that once he reaches about 10%, he spams Missile Barrage until the end of time. If I could push the boss to 10%, I could then sit on the cheese spot of the pillar from that point and spam Hail of Bolts to win. All was going well, and it seemed like this was the run. Until I'll play the footage. No. No, no, no! No! God damn it!
Your destruction.
I wasn't paying attention to the sweep ability on my bombing runs, and he hit it right when I poked my head out to briefly do damage. Now, if I just waited for a second and didn't touch my keyboard when I couldn't move, it still might have been fine. I would have just had to eat the fire damage, pop all my defensives, and immediately run away. But I panicked hard and tried to jump around as I got hit with the missile. I'm being completely serious when I say this devastated me mentally. I was having dreams at night of
your destruction is my purpose.
After this footage, I just couldn't muster up the strength to even attempt the boss again for a while. It's one thing to solo a boss for like 30 minutes, but to be locked in, following that exact bombing run plan for a few hours, only to fail at practically the finish line, it does something to you. I joined an EV story mode raid group a few days after, destroying the Annihilation Droid with a raid group and getting my anger out at that 3D model on the screen. but I knew I would have to come back and finish the job at some point. And about a week and a half later, it was time for redemption. And this time, I wouldn't fail. We have now arrived at victory. So was I gonna do the same approach as before and just be more careful about waiting for sweeps? Hell no! I was gonna make this fight take way longer, but guarantee that I didn't die. Instead of all that bombing run BS, I soon realized I could pop reflect once I got into range of getting hit by missiles, and then run back and wait for the cooldown to finish and do it all again. Damage is reflected back to the boss, so I would do this tedious, boring strategy to ensure I won. You want to bait me to peek my head out and sweep me when I'm out in the open? You can try it, man. I'm not falling for it this time. You can just keep eating my reflect. I don't care what Storm Protocol. I don't even care about your mechanics anymore. I don't care about you as a droid. I don't care about your feelings. If the boss started doing missile barrage, violate that proximity, son. Violate that proximity.
Proximity violation.
Okay. I'd go to my spot on the pillar, hurt him, then stand in front of the boss to attack when he was stunned after the barrage, but I was not having a repeat of what happened before.
God damn it!
Eventually, the boss reached that 10% mark, started spamming missile barrage, and I finished this encounter once and for all. Taking it slow. You can wake back up. I wouldn't be surprised if there's some BS like that. Oh, did it again. Okay, yep, I said, don't get greedy yet. I might have to run back again. We don't know. We are going to untested waters with what we're doing right now. He's almost there. System failure. He's about to get it. He's about to hit it. Oh.
Warning. Systems.
Yes! Yes! I did it! Let's go! I did it! He's dead! One person only! Oh, I'm never doing that again! By the time killing this one boss, you can literally clear 3 operations. But you know what? We are just here to prove it's possible. We're gonna scavenge you too, Annihilation Droid. You're coming with me. And there we go. I'm not gonna. It's hard to watch that back. I'd imagine my neighbors thought I won the lottery or something. But little did they know it was for something better. Soloing a boss in a Star Wars MMO, baby! But in all seriousness, it was extremely satisfying to solo this encounter. Did I have to find huge cheese mechanics to do it? Obviously. But with determination, you too can break SWTOR in ways not once thought possible. I eventually killed the trash mobs to get to the next boss, Garge. But he hurt too much, and there was no way I was soloing him. I tried to break the encounter though, but it didn't go well. With that said, it was time to move on to another encounter to solo. Next boss.
This day you mark upon the stars.
Back at it again with the Eternity Vault, except this time, we're getting rid of the Infernal Council. This encounter consists of 8 elite enemies that must be killed within 2 minutes and 30 seconds. If you fail to kill them within the time limit, they briefly enrage and then reset. Going into this, I knew it was going to be a tough fight. The damage of these mobs wasn't going to be the issue. It was more so killing them all in time before the reset. In the normal encounter, you assign each raid member to an enemy, and they must kill that enemy before the reset. The problem is, there's a mechanic so you can only fight one enemy at a time. If you do any sort of damage to someone else while fighting your current enemy, you get a debuff that makes you do 100% less damage. Oh! They try to AoE them. This meant that I couldn't just group up all 8 enemies and AoE them down. I'd need to do 1v1s a total of 8 times. To prep, I forewent all my defensive utilities and got anything that could slightly buff damage. The one saving grace of this fight is the enemies do practically no damage, so even if all of them were attacking me at once, I wouldn't lose health fast. I will say, a funny thing that happens when you're doing this alone is all the enemies you aren't fighting slowly walk towards you in this absolutely menacing fashion. But for this one, I'll let the footage speak for itself here. Like I said, this is my first attempt, I have no clue. And apologies that I'm slightly sick and my voice sounds weird. We don't stop for the grind. We're gonna do one attempt real quick. No specific rotation or plans in mind, I'm just gonna try to DPS them down. Let's ball rolling. They are supposed to slowly walk towards you. It is a bit goofy, just how it is. I don't know, we're gonna be close. Our DPS might not be high enough to kill them quick enough. Uh-oh, 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 uh-oh. Oh!
Let's try the AoE them.
Ooh. So, Assassin, Lord. This was Lord. Okay. We need to kill Assassin, Assassin, Lord, Lord. Knock out the 4 really quickly. So then it's just Marauders we have to deal with at the end there. Tank gives you 10 stacks of armor debuff. Assassin does the most damage out of this whole entire group by like a pretty large margin. I'm nervous. I'm nervous. It's gonna be really close. It's probably gonna come down to the last guy, and I'm gonna have to kill him before it expires. Oh, he's not dying quick. He's not dying quick. You gotta die quicker. Go, 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 go. Okay, hurry, 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 hurry. Oh my god, it's gonna be so close. I don't know if I'm gonna get it. It's gonna be just one on your reach. Come on, end him, quick, 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 please, please, please. Quick. Come on, no, 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 dude. Okay, enemy damage, not an issue. So, push back. Okay, Electronet, we're gonna have to get that one. Recharge cells, increase alacrity. I swapped out some of my defenses for more damage, so we're clearing this next run. That was slower than last time. Damn it. God damn it. Alright, it's probably already a wipe and a fail because I took so long with that. No, come on! Come on! Yes! Yes! And that's another one soloed. Oh man, it was coming down to the wire there. It was probably less than a second until he reset. That is awesome. This fight wasn't horrible, but it wasn't much fun either. And it came right down to the wire. And since the final raid boss, SWTOR, was in the next room, I decided to see if I could take him out. Come on, SWTOR, knock those platforms down. I know you can do it. There we go. Based SWTOR. But unfortunately with this fight, he sometimes throws a player into a mine trap. And since you're alone, no one can help you out. Actually, I don't think I've ever seen what happens if you wait the mine trap out for the total time. Voldemort nose looking ass. Alright, moment of truth, 30 seconds. Will I teleport back into the arena or will I die? You know, I can't say I'm surprised. Can't solo that one. I don't really need to give a rundown of the fight. Just know that he has waited 20,000 years, and he's gonna wait a bit longer. Next boss. The Legend of SWTOR raid bosses, Kefis the Undying, was one I had to solo at all costs. It didn't matter if I had to spend months on this boss. He's a meme icon. If you know, you know. As this boss is in the Terror from Beyond raid, there are Space Virginias as referenced in the Dreadguards fight from earlier. Interestingly, I found out you can do a /stuck trick to kill yourself to skip and despawn all the trash mobs. So a couple of purposeful deaths here, a couple speeder trips back, and bam! We're at the boss. Kefis the Undying is a pawn of the Dreadmasters, and was beaten to a pulp in an earlier raid, Explosive Conflict.
You got knocked the fuck out, man!
He has become a freaky Trandoshan monster, who throws hands and flies up in the sky, only to pile drive us to the ground, WWE style. In story mode, this fight has practically no mechanics. You fight Kefis in a 1v1 until he gets to 50% health, and then he jumps into the sky, slams down into us, and occasionally spawns in pylons that can be channeled and broken on top of him for increased damage. The pylons don't really work when being alone in the fight though. There are some AoE lightning circles of death and some other small mechanics. The final burn phase involves him getting some of that Dreadmaster juice and throwing fiery balls of death all over the place. Like with the Infernal Council, this is a fight that I think the footage can speak for itself. Oh, this is gonna hurt. No, I'm on fire! Ah! 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 Okay, I'm fine. Alright. Hopefully we don't get close with this next boss, because I really don't want to have to take this trip on this speeder every single time. You can read a whole novel by the time you get to your destination. Like, this is tragic. Hey, wait a second. Wait, what are these other people here? Who are you people? Gotta kill the chunky boy, Mr. Undying. Kill this dude like 50 times and he keeps coming back. We're gonna do one attempt. It's probably not gonna go well. But if it doesn't go well, I can always try the healer. Okay, this is fine. Bro hits like a wet napkin. He's hitting me for something. I'll just put it that way. Even though it's story mode, they gotta buff my mans. They did him dirty. And we're just chilling. Yeah, let me dodge that attack. Oh, watch out, watch out, watch out. Ooh! Get out of the way. I didn't look at that. He didn't expect that. He didn't expect that. He didn't expect me to slightly turn my stance. Regardless if I solo this guy or not, you are going to see a world first. At least of seeing the Enrage timer on Kefis, the Undying. Alright, he's almost half. When he gets to half, he will actually start doing mechanics, which I am... Oh, there we go. I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to work. How much do you change? Can I reflect this? Oh, I can't. Okay. No, I'm not going to die to Kefis without his Enrage. That is being so embarrassing. Please. Ooh! Oh, God, that could have been bad. Hey, can I dodge more of your attacks real quick? Please, thank you. We're almost to the final phase. I've got no clue how this is gonna go. Oh shit, here we are. I can run faster, bitch! I think they forgot to give him an Enrage timer. I don't think that Dead's ever thought people would spend this long on Kefis the Undying, to be honest. You're done! You're done! You're done! And he's gone. I don't even want to say you were like a really good opponent. That was kind of embarrassing, man. I still love you. Okay, bye-bye. He had no Enrage timer. It seems even when BioWare first made this boss in 2012, they realized how much of a joke he was. Well, after I killed the big mean Kefis, we could fight the final boss of the raid, appropriately named the Terror from Beyond. No, don't take Kefis! Don't take my buddy! I just got finished beating him up! Come on, okay, yeah. Ooh, look at that thing. Oh, yeah, oh, this is gonna work. Oh, shit, no! Don't take me! Don't take me! God, go on! Ah! 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 I couldn't get through the first phase without getting mauled by the hentai tentacle monster and the occasional kamikaze bombing larva. Next boss.
We're going to be playing this by ear.
This is the finale of the solo section, and with it comes an encounter and footage that I'm really excited to share. The Nature of Progress raid takes place on Duxon, the largest moon of Onderon. Unlike all the other fights, this one doesn't include a boss or puzzle. In fact, it's more of an ad rush mixed in with sprinting away from dangerous creatures that want to maul you to death. This encounter involves running through multiple destroyed enclosures, killing powerful ads along the way, and ultimately reaching a secondary power generator that requires 5 button presses in a sequence specified by NPC characters talking to us in the raid. Once the sequence is done, you're locked into the generator room, any enemies inside die, and the encounter is complete. I accomplished this feat on February 12th, 2024, but I returned to repeat it on December 22nd, 2024, because here's the kicker. This is a two-parter. What I mean by that is after you complete the first encounter in the generator room, there is an immediate second encounter follow-up that continues the storyline of running through areas with enemies, eventually leading to capturing this facility's security center. There are some new tricks not seen in the first part, in an epic final battle within the security center. I failed the second part miserably back then. No! But finally, after time away and a potential new strategy, I wanted to give it one last shot before finalizing this to upload. I invited my friend Thomas, who has joined me on my other SWTOR adventures for some comic relief over a voice call, and returned to Duxon to see if I could complete both parts. I hope you all enjoy. Are you coming back to SWTOR? Thomas, I've missed you!
Fuck yes.
You know I can't include that in the recording, Thomas.
I'm here in spirit.
You can solo the boss.
Running a diagnostic now.
Running a diagnostic.
Breaching the mainframe. Hacking test the mainframe. Going past the firewall.
Oh no, this animal died. No! I feel so bad.
You're about to murder hundreds of animals, though.
It's time to give some exposition to the audience. You have to run through a maze of the pins and stuff, right? And then you gotta get up here. You then have to click a bunch of buttons to activate some shield. Throughout this entire time, there's enemies attacking you, chasing you, and trying to murder you.
You have to pick up each one separately? That's actually insane.
Oh yeah, because it's meant for 8 people. Look at this. So the steroids, and we got some flares here.
Your character's hitting 315 today.
Maybe. So with the steroids, if you click them once, they increase your speed and make it so you can't be stunned by enemies. But if you click them again while active, you get a 100% crit chance, but you lose 25% of your max HP for a while. When you put down a flare, it prevents Shadow Walker enemies from stun locking you, reduces the damage of some enemies, and makes some tankier ads more vulnerable. I'm not gonna lie, Thomas. The first time I did this, it took a while. We're gonna clear this first try.
I believe.
Make your way to the secondary generator shed. We'll instruct you as you go.
The bull comes out here. I know he does. Where is he? Attack of the Clones head ass.
What? He's slowing you? Oh my gosh.
Oh. Low can't need to lock in right now. Oh no. Oh no.
He's giving you back shots.
Ow. Sorry. Holy pause. Wait, I heard someone come behind me. Pause.
Oh my gosh. You are dead. You're dead.
No. Lock in. Say it with me. Lock in.
Lock in.
Stop me! Oh. Okay. That's that V-shaped recovery they talked about.
We're so back.
Look at that keybind. You see that? Interrupted instantly.
Oh, gosh dang clicker. SWTOR slur.
I'm just trying to get the Crimson Stalkers first because they have a lot of health.
I agree.
Your contribution to the video. I really agree with that point. Wow.
This, August or whatever his name is.
Watch what's about to happen. You're gonna see something amazing happen in a second.
I'm seeing your health go down really fast. Oh! You saw the most infamous boss, the Star War.
Now there's gonna be a bull here, and then a creepy monster. Okay, we can run by him. World Star. Let them do their thing. The Battle of the Century, the bull thing from Attack of the Clones, and something else. This is gonna be really hard. So let me explain what's about to happen. So once I kill the Warden, I can activate the console. That's gonna open a door. There's gonna be another door I gotta open, and then I have to do a series of things.
Oh, here they come.
Inside that room. And if I do them in time before I get overwhelmed by the amount of ads that keep spawning, then we solo it.
Open the 4th box. Now, cut the 3rd wire.
Cut the 3rd wire.
Let me cut it! God, no! Come on, bro!
You got this!
Stop! 3rd from the right.
I was so close!
Oh, you were dead. You are
No,
dead.
I'm cooked.
Yep. You're kind of washed.
That would have been first try. Watch, guarantee you, I will get it this time. Alright. No, actually, no.
Gotta pull sneaky on you.
I can't have the odds pulling up on me like that. Getting calm, relax, shaking the arms. I'm not gonna throw. They're not spawning in yet. Oh my god, they took so long to spawn in, Thomas. This is the run.
Go.
Come on!
Oh no! Oh no!
What am I doing wrong here? There's gotta be a way to just...
You're supposed to click that thing. 3rd time's charm.
This is where I do it. Why? I understand it now. Wait, they already killed him. Okay, look, wait, the other guy's not... No!
Go to the shield control console.
Critical alert. Power over.
Doesn't matter. I'm gonna die. It doesn't matter. I lost.
But that's progress, though.
I can't take this anymore.
Next, along the opposite wall, you'll see a series of 5 breaker boxes. Open the 4th box. Now, cut the 3rd wire. Stop! 3rd from the right. Any other surprises? Next.
Oh, okay.
Fast. Go to the shield control console. Shut down the beepens.
All right, this is gonna be
and
it.
Hold on to something.
Yes! Yes! We did it!
Generator. Rerouting to
Yes!
unknown grid failure. Sequence.
Messy and bad as that was, a clear is a clear. Lights out. Now we gotta try to get the according to plan.
Partial defense functionality restored.
You'll have to take cover while the coils are on, and run when they're not.
Great. Stop and go it is. Ground team, head to the lake enclosure and make for the breach in the walkway.
Wait, why did the guy despawn? I'm not complaining. Oh my god, of course he shows up after I say that. And there's gonna be crabs that show up. Oh, it's lost power. We need to die. No. Actually, okay, I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna look at my footage. When I tried this before, I killed the ads at the first rock and then just booked it to the walkway when the coils turned off. And then I shut the door. That big dude also doesn't show up after the first attempt. It's right, he doesn't spawn. Amazing. It's already over. I didn't get the health on kill speed boost. It's gonna be close. I'm about to get shocked by the coils. I don't even think reflex works here. It doesn't. I'm not gonna have defenses.
Get everyone in and close the walkway door.
Go!
No! If I had the steroid active, it would have been fine.
That sucks.
Okay, that was good though. That was good for a first attempt. If my steroids are active, they can't stun me. I'll be fine for next time.
Close the walkway door.
Oh! Okay, we're in.
Alright, this is the final fight in the security center. Basically, gates open and shut constantly, which make more ads come in. We have to kill 2 warden droids, hit the main console, and then the gates lock permanently, and if we kill everything trapped inside with us, we win. Oh no. They're online. It's time we did this and go home. Didn't even get one, god damn it. I'm bringing out the secret weapon, which is pretty much the reason I came back here. Explanation time. I'm switching a utility, so my plasma grenade fire ability will spread grav rounds gravity vortex to nearby enemies. It then makes my demolition round hit those who have the gravity vortex debuff when I use it, instead of its normal use of hitting one person. The additional rounds are quarter strength. I then picked up a tactical that makes my mortar volley AoE ability have a 20-second shorter cooldown and do 25% more damage to those affected by gravity vortex. In short, I'm trying to burn everything down at once so I can survive for longer. Hopefully that makes somewhat sense.
Enemies die quicker, I think.
Exactly. So now they all have it. They all eat that. Look at that damage. It's beautiful! This might work!
Excellent. We're in the clear.
Unknown failure. Holding pen's power.
Okay, crits. AoE crit. Oh my god! Uh-oh. Oh, nope, and this is gone. No! You know what I'm thinking?
What are you thinking?
We'll give it a couple more tries. I need a speech, Thomas. I need your guidance. I'm down 20 points. It's the final inning. I might be able to make something happen. What do you tell me?
ChatGPT.
You just put SWTOR, Duxon, DXUN, raid encounter.
Warrior of the Republic, hero of the Sith, or protector of the Eternal Empire. Today you stand on the precipice of greatness. DXUN, how do you pronounce that?
Duxon.
Duxon, the jungle moon of Onderon, a place where beasts thrive. Mandalorians train and legends are forged. You have dared to face its challenges alone. You faced foes of overwhelming power, from dread masters to eternal emperors. Each battle, each sacrifice, each hard-earned victory has prepared you for this very moment. Skill in your rotations, the sharpness of your reflexes, the knowledge of every boss mechanic you meticulously studied. These are your allies. You are not just a player, you are a force, a storm, a legend in the making. The path is treacherous, but the glory is unmatched. Go now. Show Dixon what true power looks like. May the Force or the dark side be with you always.
May the Force or dark side be with you.
It doesn't know which side you are.
Thomas, I will do this! Okay, I didn't do it.
He failed. ... Such a long message.
Make it like a slave. Make it shorter.
Every death, every wipe, every simple misstep is teaching you something. Maybe it's timing, maybe it's positioning, maybe it's just reminding you that greatness doesn't happen overnight. But what matters isn't that you fell, it's that you stand up. So take a breath, regroup, hydrate, maybe yell at your monitor. It's all part of the process. Let's get back in there and show that the jungle doesn't own you. You're here to conquer it.
Thomas, I think I can do it. I think I can. No, not I think. I know I can.
You have to.
We are SWTOR. I'm gonna be real. After continuous wipes and fails, I was ready to throw in the towel, giving up and ending my attempts on capturing the security center. I just want one more run of me trying to do it for like the footage, because I know I'm not gonna do it. You mean, Thomas started saying jokes made by ChatGPT about the encounter to lighten up the mood.
What do you call a bounty hunter who can't finish the Duxton raid? A hunt mister. I don't know what that means.
A hunt mister?
What's the real boss of Duxton? Lag. Always lag.
That's like a cry for help. I was kind of overreacting, but I was so tired that I was finding practically anything hilarious.
Bazinga!
I started thinking that maybe it wasn't worth the planning and months of waiting I did to try and complete this. Until I found something. Let me try to get on this ledge. Why are the ads just standing there?
Initiating Warden Protocol.
The droids are down. Use the console.
No! No! They almost cleared it! Did you see that?
Oh no.
You got... Oh my god! They break if you're on here and line of sight them!
So what does this do? So they're not attacking you?
Yes! Fine, I'm gonna have to get down a second. Let me get everything ready, because they're gonna come after me when I jump down.
The droids are down. Use the console.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, I don't know if I can kill all of them. This is gonna be really tough, even just these alone.
Oh my gosh.
What I'm gonna have to do is I'm gonna have to pick up all the flares. The Shadow Walkers maul you. If I'm in a flare, they can't stun me. I just need to keep throwing the flare on them, so they can't do that to me.
The droids are down. Use the console.
So you have to kill all those things in there?
All those ones alive. Yes, all these guys right here. I can still pick up from here. Wait, where can I pick? Oh, yes! Doing a bombing run. Grab a couple, hopefully. Go back.
Help the steroids. Okay, there's one.
If we can kill like a couple here and there, that helps. Oh, that's a lot. There's not many left. Okay, I don't want to go for the middle one. I'm scared if I get the middle one, he's gonna bring in the Fleshshade Reaper. I want to save him for last. I'm gonna do my bombing run. I'm not gonna throw a flare on the ground. I'm gonna try to aggro that hunter. I'm gonna jump back up here and try to do it.
Need a flare for the big boy, right?
What the f was that?
Is that the big boy? Did you just pull everything?
I did. This is it. Do or die. I just gave myself crits by accident.
Okay, 700 dead. Kill the Shadow Walker. Nice. Still one more.
That was my last flare. The Shadow Walkers are gone. 2 left. Only 2. Come on. Come on. Oh my god, he's the last one! Last one! Oh my God, please!
Got it.
Oh my God.
Got it.
Oh my God, Thomas, I'm gonna do it! Yes! I got it, I got it, it's over! It's over! That's it, that's it. Does it count it? Yes! 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 I did it! Fuck yes! Yes! I can't believe it!
Today, you are the Force made flesh.
I got no words. I have nothing else to say. Alright, so basically, there's literally zero, like actually 0.00001% chance I could solo this. Oh my God, I'm already cooked. I'm already cooked!
Holy shit.
It has been 0 days since the last workplace fatality.
Thank you for coming, Thomas. I will use your speeches in the video. It will be really funny. Alright, gamers. I've got a confession to make. There are 4 raid encounters I soloed, which I didn't include in this video. 3 of which I teased very briefly in that over-edited intro. Making this took me way longer than I thought it would, and I'm completely burnt out on editing the rest of the fights to fit this video's format. So here's the plan. If interested, there will be links in the description to a playlist and unlisted videos where I explain the remaining bosses with unscripted commentary as the footage plays, along with cutting to my reactions of significant moments. No way! The funny words! It's a more chill format, but I'd rather have it this way than slamming my head into my desk for the 100th time as the editing software freezes. These videos should all be live a couple weeks after this main one is released, and I'll create a YouTube community post when they're done. Epilogue over. Okay, I'm gonna cut to the outro thing now. Hi. Thanks for making it to the end of the video. This was an absolute nightmare to edit at times, and I thought about throwing in the towel often, but I'm happy with how it turned out. The support I've received while working on this project on my older videos, in-game, and the many comments asking if I died or if I was going to ever make a video again because I haven't uploaded in over a year, all kept me going. I hope you all found this entertaining to watch, and sorry for the wait. With that said, I'll see you guys in the next one.